there. Welcome, everybody. I just want to take a second and make sure that you guys are able to hear me. And you probably don't recognize my voice, so I apologize. Russell is having a few connection issues, but I didn't want to keep you guys waiting. If you don't mind, okay, fantastic. Just please type in and just say, yes, I hear you, and everything's good. And if that's the case, then we'll get started. If you don't mind, just type in the chat box there, or the question box. Okay, fantastic. Well, great. I hope everyone's having a wonderful evening or afternoon. Depends on, I guess, where you're living. I'm not sure if Russell's going to be able to get back on. He was on. We were talking just a second ago, and then somehow his connection dropped. So I don't know if he was having internet connection issues. So I didn't want to keep you guys waiting, and I thought we'd just go ahead and get started. So anyway, glad that you're here. It looks like we've got some people from Montreal and all over the place here. Canada, Australia, of course in the U.S. So fantastic. Glad that you guys can make it out. So let's go ahead and get started. What I want to talk to you tonight about is, I call it instant and unlimited traffic made easy. Now, how many of you guys currently have all the traffic that you need? Is anybody not needing any more traffic? Because if you are, you can just, go ahead and hop off real quick and save yourself a little bit of time. Yeah, so everybody's like, yes, no, need more traffic. Traffic, yes, traffic's good. No, fantastic. So, absolutely, traffic is, that's the whole, that's what makes your business succeed or fail. And what happened, I guess, is there's a couple different ways, and there's all kinds of camps about how to get traffic and everything. But I'm actually of the mindset that I want to be able to buy traffic. So tonight's topic, how many of you guys currently use some form of paid traffic, whether it's PPC, media buys, Facebook ads? Does anybody buying traffic currently? None. Okay. All right. And this is interesting. A lot of people say, no, I'm not buying any traffic at all. Is there a reason, or what are the reasons? Most of the time when I talk to people, and it's a couple of things. One, they're like, it's too expensive. Yeah, no. People are saying no. One, it's too expensive. Two, just sort of I don't know what to, I don't know where to go or what to do. Absolutely, yeah, too expensive. This is boring. Please pick it up. All right, Chris, fantastic. The world of internet, ADHD, absolutely. All right, so yeah, Market Samurai. Looks like a lot of you guys do SEO. All right, well, let me open your eyes a little bit to just another world, okay? And it's paid traffic, and that's what we're going to talk about tonight, because it is instant, all right? It's abundant and unlimited. You can quickly test and optimize. You can rapidly scale, and you can actually do accurate business projections and growth plans using paid traffic. I know that a lot of people, with SEO, especially with Google, they change something, seems like every week. The one thing that they're never going to change is they'll sell you traffic. So if you can master the skill, not saying that it's the only skill that you need, but if you can master the skill, you will always be able to get traffic to your site. And so if you're working for a client and they're like, I need traffic, next week or whatever, this is something that you'll have in your back pocket, okay? All right. My name is John Shugart. That's me and my son Sam, who actually is 4 now, so that picture's a couple years old. My background is actually software engineering. Um, so I became a full-time internet marketer in 2008. That's actually, and the way that I did that was I focused on paid traffic and at the time affiliate marketing. Okay, so that's how I sort of got my start. Russell says that he is on, so let me make him real quick. Let me go ahead and make him a so we can hear him. Okay, there you go. Hey Russell, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, now, yeah, absolutely,
That was
absolutely.
crazy what happened before, so sorry for that, man.
Oh, that's all right. I went ahead and got started. So
Thanks.
I didn't want to keep everyone waiting. So I don't. If you want to, feel free to chime in or whatever. This is going to be a very
Sure.
informal presentation. Most of it's, I mean, we're going to cover a lot of material, but it's not going to be too formal. So feel free to, pipe in or make comments or whatever anytime you want.
Sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
I, I didn't know if you had anything that you want to say before I got started, and if you don't feel like you have to, but you're welcome to, and
No,
then I'll continue.
there was something that I wanted to say that I was going to say in the beginning, and that basically is I've been buying a lot of mobile traffic lately. Anybody that's on my list knows that mobile is one of my main business activities, and I've been buying a ton of mobile traffic for a Canadian company called AdMobix. If you haven't checked them out, they're like a CPA network, and I've actually been buying their mobile traffic for them. And what we're going to be talking about tonight, obviously, besides the model, is kind of banners, right? And I just wanted to kind of let everybody know that what I've ran into just the last week here with banners and having to get banners and the serious cost that there's been to do that. I went to Fiverr, and if you guys have been on my calls about outsourcing, you know about Fiverr, you know where you can get help, where you can hire people, but basically every banner site I went to, things were like, $125 for one set of banners, which I thought was just outrageous, especially when you're testing a campaign. So I went to Fiverr, and I was still, which is supposed to be cheaper, but still quality work. So, I was getting $25 for a set of mobile banners, and by the time I was done just testing the first campaign, I was already $50 out of pocket. So, what John's going to show you tonight is really some revolutionary stuff in the way that it fills a real void when you do start running traffic. And I can tell you, if all you're doing is SEO, or all you're doing is going out, you're really not tapping into probably the biggest source of income as far as internet marketing goes. I mean, this is, even if you're doing local consulting like I do, or doing mobile marketing, you should still be, buying, traffic, and you should be buying both, traditional, and you should be doing mobile. So I just wanted to kind of interject that really quick.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I was going to cover, especially if they're doing local. I don't know if you're doing this yet or not for your clients, but with the mobile and paid traffic, you can actually target down to a building. I don't know if you've seen that yet. They're coming online where you can do latitude and longitude targeting, and you could literally target an app and someone playing an app inside a building for local. So,
Wow.
yeah, no, it's getting kind of scary what you can actually do with some of the targeting. Not everybody can do that, but there's a couple of networks, and there's about 6 billion impressions a month. So it's not global, but in terms of there's a lot more impressions that you can't do that with. But there's about 6 billion impressions a month that you can buy, and you can target down to. So if you had a sandwich shop that you were doing local marketing for, you could run a day-parted campaign, and I'm probably jumping the gun a little bit, but since you brought it up,
Yeah.
you could run a day-parted campaign, which basically means you're only going to run it from maybe 11 a.m. to 1 or 2 p.m. and
Hmm.
strictly target a radius or that sandwich shop or whatever, pizza place or whatever. So I mean it's getting scary and exciting, and that's why I love paid traffic, because I don't know that you can do that with SEO, yet.
No,
So
no.
so it's pretty cool. So again, it's not and like I said, it has nothing against SEO. It's just it's something that if you're an internet marketer, you really do need to at least have this as part of your arsenal of generating traffic. So anyway, a quick background again. My name is John Shugart. My focus has primarily been paid traffic and affiliate marketing in the past, but kind of like Russell said, display advertising is really where my heart is, and I became obsessed with it, several years ago, and you'll understand what I mean by that here in just a second. So let's just get into the meat of this, because Chris earlier had said I was being boring. So let's talk about the types of paid traffic. There are kind of 6 main and we're not going to cover all these, but a lot of people are familiar with search, right? So Google AdWords, you go to the Google website and you enter in a keyword that you're searching for, and you're going to get your ads popping up. Most people are the one that is probably the most confusing, but it's really simple when you get into it, is display advertising, and that's the one that everyone's at least familiar with from a consumer standpoint, because you see banners everywhere. Whether it's on mobile or whether it's on a website or something like that, or a tablet. But it's simply a banner ad being displayed somewhere, and that's why they call it display advertising. Obviously, there's some nuances and tricks and everything. Mobile and tablet, it's another, and the reason I kind of break that out, even though it's probably display, but there's different things that you can do on mobile, pay-per-call and that kind of stuff. So it's still a different animal. There's certain things you can do with mobile that you can't do with display, and like one of those things that I just mentioned, which is target down to the building level. Most display ads, the best targeting that you're going to get geo-targeting wise is probably about a 25-mile radius. Okay, so you can, even with display advertising, get down to about a 25-mile radius, which is good enough usually for local, but with mobile you can, they're getting it now where you can target, literally almost laser target a building or something. So target downtown Atlanta, all the skyscrapers for lunch, and you're going to get a ton of people. All right, social, everybody's familiar with Facebook, so there's social paid advertising, different animal, but still cool. CPV and PPV, which is probably, if you're a local marketer, you probably haven't done anything with that too much, is my guess, but that's a great place to get traffic. And then solo ads, that's more talking about email. All of this, and this isn't all of everything, but this covers quite a bit. So how many of you are familiar, or at least have heard of, all of those types of paid traffic before? Is any of that new to anybody, or anything need additional explanation? Because like I said, we're about to get into, I'm really just going to give you some great insight into where you can get some traffic, because that's what I want to do. Because people are like, they feel, especially when it comes to media buys, they're like, where can I go? What can I, that's probably the number one question, because honestly, it's not that hard, once you get into it. So it sounds like everybody's familiar. So we'll just kind of keep on trucking here. All right. So here it is. Where can you get paid traffic easily? And that's what let me just show you. We're going to go real quickly through what I call my traffic Rolodex. Okay, this is self-serve traffic, guys. So you could go to any of these sites that I'm about to show you, and I'm going to go through them kind of quickly. All right. This isn't going to be entertaining, so I apologize for that, but it is going to be very informative. All right, it's going to open your eyes up to all kinds of, the entertaining part is coming here in just a minute, but I think this is important because you need to see where you can buy traffic, and this primarily is display. Okay, we haven't even really got into mobile too much on here, but this is mainly for display buys. So advertising.com, ad desk. that actually gives you access to AOL sites. Okay, how many people are familiar with CPM pricing? That's typically how you're going to pay for things, and that CPM just basically means cost per 1,000 impressions. Okay, so every time you have 1,000 impressions, you're going to pay a certain amount. Maybe it's $1, maybe it's 50 cents. You set the bid typically. CPC is probably something most people are familiar with, cost per click, that kind of thing. Now here's where it gets cool. Targeting capabilities, and this is why, you know, people who say it's too expensive, what that really means is you're not targeting good enough. If you can laser target, then even though it may cost you $1, you know, for a click or something like that, if it's the right person, then your ROI is going to be there. Okay, so being able to target is really key, and especially if you're doing local. All right, so in here you've got demographic and geo-targeting capabilities. They also have something called channels and interest. You can target on income. So if you've got somebody, say you've got you know, some type of luxury vehicle like a yacht dealer or something like that, well, you can target on some of these by income level. There's an ad network called Martini Network, and they basically say that the average income of the people that see their ads is like $100,000. Okay, so if you want to, you know, you've got some luxury item, you know, high-end watches or whatever, then that's the places that you need to be out in front of. All right. So Ad Desk is a good one. It's AOL basically. AdBright and Plenty of Fish. Okay. Let's talk about AdBright real quick. They've got over 1 billion impressions a day. That's 1 billion impressions per day on over 100,000 sites. It's a lot of traffic. Okay. They've got several different pricing models. CPM, we've already talked about CPC, and then CPA. CPA is cost per acquisition. If you're not familiar with that, or cost per action, and that basically means that they will only charge you if the action that you define occurs, whether it's a conversion, maybe it's a lead, something like that. Targeting capabilities, behavioral. All right, did they take some action? Demographic, contextual. What are they looking at? What's on the page? And then also retargeting. And if you're not doing retargeting, we honestly we don't have time to get into that. It's a whole nother webinar training, but it's it's probably one of the most powerful things. I don't know how long it'll be around, before people start legislating against it, but take advantage of it now if you can. Basically, retargeting just gives you the ability to show the same person an ad, so you know that they've been to a site, and then you can show them an ad again and again and again and again, or you show them a different ad. So if someone visits a site that's, let's just say it's a weight loss site, and you place a retargeting pixel on there, then you can actually send them back to a different weight loss site, or not send them back, but show them a banner for a different or a competitor, or something like that. It's really powerful, especially in affiliate marketing too. But it's a branding thing.
I was going to say,
John, go ahead, Russell.
I picked up a training on retargeting from Jonathan Mizell like a year ago, because I wanted to learn more about it, and it was pretty cost effective. It wasn't very expensive training, but I went out and hooked up with a few of these networks when we launched local lead machines, and I mean, we had some ridiculous results with with the retargeting. We even just did it with Google as well, and we were killing it until they shut our account down.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and I'm going to throw this out there just for people that, here's the cool thing with retargeting. You basically can build an audience if you do it correctly, and it's just like having a list. It's basically like having an email list, because you can show those people an ad over and over and over, and it's whatever ad you want. So it's like getting somebody on an email list for display. And so just, if you can monetize an email list by giving the people like offers that they're interested in, you can do the same thing with retargeting, just like what you were experiencing, Russell. I mean, it's really amazing. But anyway, so Plenty of Fish. Some people might be familiar with that site, probably. I mean, it's a pretty popular dating site. But the cool thing with them, now they only have CPM pricing primarily, but their targeting is ridiculous. You can actually, you can target on country, state, zip code, that kind of thing, which is sort of standard. But then you can start an age, which is demographic, age and gender. But then you start getting into education, profession, whether they have kids or not, games and puzzles, body type, whether they're large, small, whether they like to drink, or if they're looking to get married, height. You can target them based on height. So anyway, smoking habits. So these are some of the things that again, from a targeting standpoint, you can really narrow down your ads. My ads actually is MySpace. Supposedly still have 195 million people. But again, they have a lot of targeting capabilities, and this is what I want to show you guys, because I don't know how many people get into this, Russell, or not, but a lot of people think, well, I've got to have a keyword, in order to target somebody. But and the reality is you don't. Not when it comes to display and mobile too. Yeah, I mean you can, and sometimes contextual targeting, is what it's called. But I mean, look at this. I mean, you've got all kinds of channels that you can hit. So you're really more targeting people and their interests. Ad knowledge, 300 million people, and they're behaviorally based on past behaviors. Okay, so again, if you can find something that somebody's into, you can find products that they're wanting to take or buy. Click share, 300 million people as well. Ad roll, retargeting. They've got one of the largest retargeting inventories, on the web, basically. So if you go with ad roll, you can get to Google, Microsoft, Yahoo. So ad roll is just a place that's sort of a central. There's ad roll and there's retargeter. Those two places you can pretty much just go set up your retargeting pixel through them, and you can get access to all kinds of inventory. All right. That you can even do Facebook retargeting too. Context web. All right. Another just really good in terms of their targeting capabilities. Zito, which they're an actual ad server. And if anybody needs me to stop or wants, I'm not going to go into depth on this. I mainly want you guys to just be exposed to all the different places that you can buy. And this isn't all of them, but these are some of the ones that we've used and everything. Google Display, obviously, most people are familiar with. I mean, that's a great one. I mean, it's probably one of the better ones, honestly. But to get started with, it's just like Russell just said. It's great until they ban your account. They're supposedly doing better now, but who knows? I actually heard that if you open a new account now, you'll actually get to talk to somebody for like 60 days or something like that.
That's true.
Ad click media. Is that you opened up an account recent or?
Well, I had a bunch. I got shut down to the point that I couldn't run retargeting anymore, and because I couldn't get approved for ad roll anyway. So Google was the only one letting me do it, and then basically I already had I was running a ton of people's AdWords accounts for them as a local consultant. So it's not that I ever really got shut down, but they stopped me from being able to do that, and that was kind of that. So now I understand that if you sign up as Google Engaged for agencies or just for a personal account, you do get a rep for the first 30 to 60 days. So,
yeah, no, what happened? They lost, or I didn't lose, but they didn't actually hit their projections fourth quarter of last year for the first time ever. So, in terms of their revenue projections. So, and a lot of it had to do with the fact they're kicking off everybody that wants to pay them. Even if they're not, fit their little mold or whatever. So I think
that's true.
I think they're, going to come back a little bit, at least swing back this way for a while. Traffic IQ, Traffic Taxi, again, various really good networks. Fetchback. This is just basically another retargeter. Now this is a cool one. Russell? Have you seen Moki Media? Have you ever heard of that one? It probably would be outside of most of what you're doing. So the cool thing with this is you're going to reach gamers. All right, so it's basically a big game site, and so it depends on but you can actually target based on game categories.
Yeah, I was using a different one than that. It did like the same thing, and it for our purpose, I think we were running a subprime credit offer, and it failed miserably within the downloads. Like, because you could pick like Angry Birds, which there's a ton of traffic to it. So the one I'm trying to think of the one that we were using even. I mean, it wasn't good traffic, but this one might be actually about this one.
Yeah, this one's actually a pretty good site. I mean, obviously, it really does depend on what you're trying to run. So you got to think who's playing games. But the fact that you can target a category of games, that'll help. That kind of gives you some idea of what you're running. But it's just so cool, all the places that you can buy traffic. Again, this CPM Star is another one to reach gamers. Adperium, I've had mixed results with personally, but they do have traffic, and it's a lot of they have a lot of international traffic, so mostly male audience. If you want to reach anybody on adult, this has got 1.8 billion impressions per day on adult site, Eero advertising. Realtek Network, just another good one, 26.8 billion. Here's retargeter. Again, this is AdRoll and retargeter. These are two that you probably want to get familiar with if you're not using them for retargeting. And I mean, Rubicon is huge. It's the largest display advertising marketplace. 560 million global uniques, 600 ad networks, exchanges, and DSPs from all over the world. I mean, it's big, and they've got some pretty good targeting capabilities. Traffic Junkie is, again, that's another adult website based, but they get over 1 billion impressions per day. ExoClick, Traffic Broker, Turn Media, another, and this is a DSP. Now, the cool thing about DSPs, you basically get to set, you're doing real-time bidding for every impression. Okay, this is kind of a new, it's really the new way of buying media. Used to be you'd have to use $5,000 or $10,000 and put an IO in and all this. But with DSPs and these self-serve platforms, I mean, literally you can do it for $10 or $5 or whatever. So and you can say, I only want to pay. They have CPC pricing, so you can say I'm only going to pay 10 cents, and I want it to run on these particular sites or whatever. And they'll bid for you every impression. They'll bid. Some impressions you're going to win, some you're not, but it's a fantastic way to to try and get some traffic with complete control over what you're spending and everything. Contextual ad network is good. Tattoo Media, over 3 billion impressions. So hopefully, I'm just going to kind of scroll through this. OpenX is big. 350 million global unique. That's 350 million unique visitors per month. So that's a lot of people. In-page ads, ad serve. Here's two that I want you guys to pay attention to, especially Site Scout, probably one of the easiest ones for you to get started with if you're going to do any kind of media buying. Actually, I'll show you the interface real quick, just for just to kind of let you see. It's real simple. This is kind of the interface. Let me know if you can see that, Russell.
Yeah, it's popped up now. It's good.
Okay, cool.
Looks good.
So this is the interface, and what I was going to show you, if you look at this in their sites, they'll actually tell you, all the sites that you can bid on. So if if you've never seen this before, I might have to log back in because I actually had this earlier going, so I'll log back. Okay, here we go. So you can see that how many impressions that they're getting on each site. Okay, so it's a little bit slow for some reason, but let me sort it the other way so you can kind of take a gander here. And the cool thing is, if you're looking for something in particular, you can do so Facebook. They've actually got 410 million impressions. That was yesterday. That was just yesterday on Facebook. Facebook.profilecraze.com through OpenX, 120 million impressions. YouTube, you can bid on that, 70 million impressions yesterday. So this is a traffic that you could bid on and that you could win. If there's anything in particular that you're looking for, you just type in a filter. They may have it, they may not. So let's just say, I don't know, weight loss or something, or just put the word weight in, and let's just see if they've got any specific traffic. So WeightWatchers.Canada, they had 102,000 impressions yesterday, so that, there's some traffic there. Not a whole lot for a guide to fast weight loss. So you can just look through their inventory, and you can just basically pick a site. And this is what I love about it, because there's no Google here. There's no landing page qualifications. There certain publishers or certain sites, they will let you, like, for example, I'll give you let's pick, like, I don't know what China Flix is, but if you click this pub details, it'll tell you what you can and can't run on that site from an ad standpoint. Okay. And so as long as you're, like here, it tells you can't run anything that's skin or wrinkle, diet loss, or work from home. Okay, so don't run anything like that if you're affiliate, but anything else, they don't care. You can run it. And you can't have ads that have a bunch of fat people's bellies on them. So other than that, you can run whatever you want to. So, I mean, that's how easy it is to get traffic. You simply bid on it and then put your ad on there, and then get clicks. So I mean, it's super, super easy. So Site Scout would be one that I would recommend you guys if you're getting into this. Try it out. Let me show you one more that I don't know if you've seen this one yet. It's brand new, Russell, in terms of, I don't know if you've ever used this site, but I thought that for your folks it might be really good. It's called signupads.com. It's the self-serve for Pontiflex, and basically it's cost per lead. Okay, so it's for mobile. If you look, it's mobile performance advertising. Okay, so and they just launched it not too long ago, like probably just a few weeks ago.
Yeah,
and so here's the cool thing about it. What their promise is that, yeah, no, well, exactly. It just came out, so I mean, I figured you probably hadn't seen it yet. You're not supposed to pay for an accidental click. So the way the way it works is you're only going to pay if they actually do sign up for your offer. So I don't know if you can really see this, but what they do is they list like free discounts and deals, and they actually list offers inside of here, and people have to select what they're interested in, and then they go and fill out the lead form, and then you get charged. So it's not some little banner that pops up or whatever, and then you actually get they click on it accidentally because they're playing a game or whatever. I mean, it's pretty good. I mean, again, try it out, see if it backs out. But for my thought, for local businesses, which I know that that's a big field for you. It's, I mean, you can see Groupon. They're doing it up here, so it might be something that you guys want to try. But you can find that if you just go to signupads.com. So signupads.com. Check it out. So I'm going to stop just real briefly and give you guys just a chance to ask any questions that you want on what we've covered so far, and then we're going to move on, and I'm going to show you something pretty cool. Any questions on? and we'll do some Q&A at the end, like if you've got strategy questions or something like that. I'll be happy to give you whatever information I can to help you. I told you this is going to be a very informal webinar. I'm really I just wanted to get on and share some information, show you guys some cool stuff, and that's it. So answer your questions mainly. Okay. I don't see a whole lot that so let me do this then. Okay.
I can add something here, actually, since nobody's asking questions.
Yeah, please.
One of the important things that I've found when you're looking at traffic sources and such, and when you're looking at offers, is make sure that when you test, you test with a very little amount to start with, maybe $10 for a campaign for a day, so that you can see, obviously you're going to test as a marketer, but so you can see what type of tracking you can do, because what I've noticed is not all networks and not all traffic is created equally. So your best bet with any of these is to spend very little to see what's effective and to see what type of variables you can pass to find out the most information about where and who, and as deep as you can drill down to find out who's clicking on your ads and where you're getting your conversions, so that you can exclude and whitelist different carriers, networks, and different things. It's kind of an advanced thing to think about if you've never ran traffic at all, but that's just something to think about, just in case you were wondering about that.
No, absolutely. Great. Tried Prosper 202 and CPV Labs. Okay. Yeah, those are good. Prosper 202 and CPV Labs. Someone said they tried those. I mean, those are good. I mean, I like both of them. CPV Labs, I guess I like a little bit more. Yeah, need better for tracking. I mean, honestly, I use the networks tracking pretty much. I mean, most of them have their own tracking platform. I mean, granted, you got to trust them, but
right.
So I mean, that's the only reason that I would probably do it my own tracking platform. Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, I mean, as long as it's backing out, then you run with it. But yeah, because I'm sure that. Yeah, exactly. Well, let's get back real quick, because that's a great point in terms of what's the most important thing, or how do we, when you're getting into, like you said, only spend $5-10, kind of get some data and things like that. But what should you focus on, when you're spending that $5 or $10? Should you focus on conversions, or should you focus on something else? The reality is, you're not really going to be able to focus on conversions at first. What you really want to focus on is the ad and the click-through rate. Okay, ad effectiveness is measured by something called click-through rate, which is CTR. All right, so you'll see that abbreviation, CTR. Just means how many times did somebody actually click on that ad versus how many times it was shown. Okay, so if my ad is shown 100 times and I get one click, then I've got a 1% CTR, which is good. And I say that because, I'll show you here in just a second. The average CTR is actually 0.1% when it comes to display ads. Now, we're not talking about PPC, or search ads. This is strictly banner ads. Okay, 0.1%. But honestly, what I focus on is finding a good ad, and here's why. If you'll remember, I talked about CPM, the way most time you pay with display advertising is with CPM pricing, and that's cost per 1,000 impressions. Okay, so if I can focus on an ad, and I can find an ad that really gets clicks, then from a design standpoint, from a design and message in front of a right audience, I can find a product typically that I can send to them that they'll want. So now obviously if it's your own product or if it's a local business or something like that, you still want to focus on click-through rate at first, because spending $5 or $10 is not enough money typically to get an optimized conversion funnel, right? I mean, would you agree with that, Russell? I mean, you're really just gathering data.
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I agree.
I mean, it's just not enough. I mean, it's great. It's
Really?
enough to, it's enough to spend to start getting data, right? And seeing if there's hope, or whatever. But you're just going to take a little bit of traffic before you optimize the conversion path, and people get frustrated and they don't understand that. So it sounds like you've got something you want to say. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, really what you're looking for is what you want to exclude. I mean, you're looking for pitfalls more than you are. It's the opposite of what you would think, And same thing if you come from a pay-per-click background where you're bidding, cost per CPC, cost per click. If you've never tried cost per thousand, that's another enlightenment. You should be trying that. If you're doing anything with Facebook, you should definitely, split test CPC and CPM. So that's all.
No, that's perfect. I mean, and that really is this game. I mean, it's really not about getting or buying traffic. It's about buying the right traffic. And like what you said, you look at where the traffic's coming from, look at click-through rate, find a great creative. Because here's the cool thing. When you find a good creative, it's going to typically work for multiple niches or multiple, local businesses or whatever. A good design can usually be used across verticals, with similar results. So you're never wasting money if you're, finding and tweaking a good design. So the goal really for you is, make sure that you're above average on your click-through rate, and then like what you just said is, start Xing off the things that aren't working whatsoever, right? So for example, you're getting, on the site level, you're not getting any click-throughs whatsoever on this particular site. We'll just stop running traffic there. Don't pay for anything on that site. Focus on the ones where you're getting traction, then start working on the conversion funnel from there, because obviously there's some interest, at least in what your message says, whether or not they're interested in the product. I mean, that you've got to optimize that process. So, I mean, it's really fun. It's really more like a game, but I understand, and I don't know. The other thing too is, especially with some types of the paid traffic like CPV, I mean, you can sort of, once you find a particular site that's working well, you can start scaling and doubling your chances and things like that by running CPV traffic on top of that site. So a similar type, ad or message, but you find where your banners are converting, then target that with CPV, and you're getting like double exposure there. Okay, so that's just kind of a tip. And I apologize if CPV, if you're not familiar with CPV or PPV advertising, we can talk about that here in just a second or in the Q&A.
Yeah.
So, hey, no, great question. Someone said, can you please define verticals? It says, sorry to sound ignorant as I hear it all the time, verticals. So you're not ignorant, so I apologize for not defining it. When I say vertical, primarily I'm just talking about weight loss or auto insurance or pizza parlors, or it's a category that a lot of businesses or a lot of different offers are actually in. So that's so when I say vertical, it's primarily just like a business type, or maybe if you're doing affiliate marketing, it's kind of it's an offer category. So hopefully that helps. At least that's what I say. That's what I mean when I say vertical. So basketball coaches, they mean something else. But and I don't have much of a vertical anymore from that standpoint, for sure.
Me neither.
So So anyway, back to CTR, all right, because this is very important, and I think you kind of hit the nail on the head, Russell, earlier when you were talking about getting banners created, and it's kind of expensive and everything. So, however, if you really want to know the single best way to improve the effectiveness of any paid traffic campaign, it boils down to one thing, and it's the same thing for internet marketing, period. It's split testing. Would you agree or disagree with that statement? If you want to improve, your results in online advertising.
I agree 100%.
Yeah, no, absolutely. But most people, because of the cost involved, typically they don't do it. They'll run maybe one or two types of ads, right? Or they'll have one landing page and they just try and run a bunch of traffic to that one. There's tools there. One of them is called Visual Website Optimizer. Have you ever used? I don't know if you've ever used that one, or if people are familiar with it.
Yeah, I have.
It's not mine.
I have.
I wish it was.
Yeah,
it's
it's
okay,
awesome.
good.
Crazy Egg is another one too. Crazy Egg.
Yeah, Crazy Egg is good. Visual Website Optimizer is it's a really powerful split testing for landing pages. Okay, they say that it's the world's easiest A/B testing tool. It is easy. It's not. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but just like anything, it's pretty easy. So if you're not using something like this, Visual Website Optimizer, I think there's another one called Conversion Doubler. It makes it super duper easy to basically, you can test headlines without having to have two pages. You just put in and some JavaScript code on your page, and they'll run the test for you. Okay. Again, I wish it was my site, or I wish it was my product. I'm not here pitching it, but I'm just wanting you guys to. They got a free 30-day trial. So if you haven't tested out something like this, definitely give it a try. Okay. But back to split. So there's tools out there for landing pages. All right. But here's what there was no tool, and basically what I sort of created, and that is split testing tools for banner ads. Okay. Let me give you a quick example. This is for eye contact, but this is what I mean by split testing. It's 4 completely different designs. Now, once you find one of these designs that gets traction, then you're actually going to split test inside that design, and you're going to test different headlines. You're going to test different. Here's your headline: better than direct mail. Okay. Here's your body copy: unleash the power of email. Here's your call to action. This is called a hero shot because there's, a person in here is a hero shot. I mean, this one, I guess, technically is a hero shot, or start your free trial is kind of your call to action. This one doesn't really have one, but once you find one of these designs that gets traction and gets the highest click-through rate, then you start focusing on that particular design and try and improve it. However, as Russell kind of indicated early on, that's not cheap to do, and most people don't do it, because what you really have to do is you either have to have Photoshop skills yourself, and get someone to create a banner, and then you go in and edit it with PSDs or whatever, or you got to pay for it. And those are really your only 2 options. So to really do paid traffic well, it takes a lot of creatives generated and tested to get to what you really want to, which is an ultimate optimized ad. So I'm going to show you this software. It's called Rockstar Power Suite. It's basically something that I've built over the last couple years, literally. And I want to show you how easy it makes things. So you'll notice that I've got Banner Ad Wizard, CPV Wizard, which, again, if I didn't really talk about, but Media Buy Wizard, which is display advertising, and PPC Wizard, which is for Google and Microsoft Yahoo PPC campaigns. Okay, if you're familiar with those. But let me just show you guys the banner ad stuff, because as Russell indicated, the reason that I built this was I needed something to speed up the time that it took for me to get banner ads. And I needed to reduce the cost because, I wanted to pour that money into buying traffic, not, some service provider to give me banner ads. All right. So we'll just do Russell here, demo. So I create a project. I'm going to call this Russell Demo. I can add a description to it. It's pretty simple. And then I go in and it asks me, well, what ad types do you want? All right. And there's 3 options currently. We're going to be adding HTML5 as an option as well. But you can have static GIF, PNG or JPEG. You can use animated GIFs, or you can do Flash ads. All right, it has support for all 3. So I'm going to just say Flash for right now. I'm going to say Next, and you can do all 3 of them if you want. But typically, your animated banners are going to get a higher response. All right, once I'm here, it gets real easy. This is my Flash ad, manager. I don't have any, so I come up here and I say Add. It's going to take me into, basically, it's all the template sets that we have created. Okay. Now we've got mobile template sets, which Russell, you just mentioned, that you just had some made. These are some kind of more generic ones. I'll give you a sort of a look and feel. We're actually releasing 10 more, I think, next week. Okay, so these are some real simple smartphone sizes, and they come in all sizes. So I've got smartphone 216 by 36, 240 by 200. Basically just about every size for mobile already built. Okay, and let me show you guys, because this gets, it's pretty cool. Since you guys do a lot of local stuff, we've got all kinds of, well, I think 35 verticals or business types of banners already built. So like for accountants, we've got banner ads for accountants already built that come in all the sizes that you'll need. So you wouldn't have to. So here's all the different. There's 9 different sizes to run for online. So they're already built. And you're like, well, what if they're not in San Francisco, right? So I'm going to show you how to edit all this. It's super simple. So we've got accountants, apartment. If you got apartment buildings, we've got stuff for auto insurance. This is kind of a cool ad here. I like this one. It's a car that just kind of is rolling across the little green hills there with the spinners on. So you can imagine. The ads that you had built for $25, were they animated? Were they Flash?
Oh heck,
or were they
no!
static?
They were static. Yeah, they were static, 100%.
No, they were static. Yeah, to give someone, like, here's just a site. They got some nice ads. They call banners, but you can also go to like $20banners.com. Obviously Fiverr, but you're not going to get Flash. I don't know why my internet's so slow, but they charge $99 per banner. So if you go to their prices, and they've got some nice, Flash banners. They're custom, but it's $99 per banner, per size, and that's not revisions. So you're looking at, $100 out of the gate just for one size. So with our stuff, you're getting 9 sizes included, and these are Flash, banners. So anyway, let me show you guys a few more. Like, these chiropractors look pretty good. I don't know if you work with any chiropractors or not.
Yeah, I do with
but
many.
these are there.
Yeah, those are
Yeah.
great.
So
Those are
I mean, we've
great.
got. I mean, basically, you could go to them, and all you have to do is, I mean, I'll show you how easy it is here. Just 2 seconds. You pick one of these, designs. You edit it for them, and then you go charge them, whatever, 100. I mean, you charge them $100. We had a client. We built, I guess, a couple sets of banners. We charged them $750 for. It took 5 minutes. So, I mean, it's a profit center, or just, I'm giving away money, but anyway, cleaning service, computer repair, dating, templates, dentists, dermatologists. All right, so I'm going to show you guys how cool or how easy it is. So let's take this one here. This is a locksmith template, which is, it's a very bright red design. Okay, looks good, but I'd say it's a very masculine design. I don't know if you agree with that, but I would say it's a very masculine design just because the color scheme, almost Christmassy too.
For sure.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take this one, and I'm going to show you what you can do with it. So first off, we select it. We say next. You can pick all the sizes, or you can just pick specific sizes, but typically they come with 9 different sizes that you'll need for the different ad networks. Okay, and you click next. It's going to generate a preview for each of the sizes here. And so here's your first set. You typically don't have to do anything here. You might want to add a border, a black border, no big deal. But most of those you can just leave, those settings you can leave alone. This is where you can get into changing the text, because this says preferred locksmith, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take the title, and I'm actually going to say something like, Atlanta Premier Salon, and I'll show you why here in just a second. Description 1 and description 2, you can say whatever. Just I don't actually. Let's see. What do we want? We'll just say something like, foil cut. Whatever. Beautify. I'm not sure. We're gonna not even worry about the. For now, I won't even worry about that. We put a phone number in. It's got that. You can change the website. We'll just say, I don't know, whatever, beauty, Beauty Atlanta or something like that. All right. At this point, if I click preview, it's going to generate with the change text for me. Okay. And so you'll see that it'll give you an idea of what it looks like. Atlanta Premier Salon, full cut, beautify, work home auto. Obviously, we need to change that. But you can see these are they're in. I need to change that work home auto, but it gives you an idea of how easy it is to change the text. Okay, probably want to change this get free quote too. All right, so what we'll do is we'll come in here. I'm just going to, for now, I'm going to say, look beautiful today. My call to action, just say, or make appointment. All right, and then I'm going to say next. Now, right now, I'm sure everyone's going, well, that's great, but, how's that going to, how are we going to make a beauty salon from a locksmith ad? So this is what I want to show you. This is where the power of the software comes in, and why it's really cool. So first off, if I look at this preview, if I kind of look over here, you can see I've got these locks, and a lock has nothing to do with, doesn't have anything to do, I'm sorry, the lock and the key. The key doesn't have anything to do with this ad or beauty salon. So I'm just going to get rid of it. So I just delete it. All right. Then I'm going to go and look at this lock. Okay. Now I don't need a lock. I need a beautiful woman. So this is a beauty salon ad. So I'm going to come in here. I'm going to say replace image. Now I went to Fotolia and just downloaded a stock photo of this girl. Okay, cost like $1 or something like that. And what I can do, there's a couple things. First off, this is a JPEG and it has a white background. All right, so let me show you what would happen. I'm just going to say save. If we actually did that right now and I did preview, what will happen is you're going to get this block, you know, on this site or on this red background. So you've got this nasty looking white, you know, block behind her head. Okay, so that doesn't exactly look that great. So let me show you how we actually handle that. So what we can do is I can say replace image. I can pick her, and I've got something called an Easy Eraser in this software, and I simply click the Easy Eraser. I hover over the color that I want to erase, and I just press my mouse key and drag it a little bit to set the tolerance, and I've just made the background transparent. So now when I say save image, and this is called an auto crop, and what I'm going to do is focus right here on her face. I've got a couple of different crop styles. We won't get into that, but anyway, we'll leave it as zooming for now. And now if I do this and I hit preview, look at the difference. And I haven't left the software. You know, this is why it gets really cool.
Excellent.
So now I don't have that ugly white background, and I didn't have to use Photoshop. I didn't have to, you know, I didn't have to do anything except use our software, right? And look, now it's starting to look a little bit more like a beauty salon ad, right? There's only one thing. It's still red, which is a little bit more of a masculine color than what I want. So let's fix that. So I'm going to take this background, and now notice it's this 728 by 90 shape or 468 by 60. But here's what's cool. I have all of these ads selected, and what I can do is I can say adjust the image. I'm going to change the color, and I'm going to give it kind of a maybe like a hot pink look or something like that instead. All right, and now I'm going to say okay. I've got a hot pink look. I'm going to say next. It's going to generate, and you can see it kind of updating in real time there. Now let's take a look at this ad. This is a lot more like an ad that you'd want to see for you know, for your beauty salon. So I mean, especially if we come down here, let's look at some of these square ones that are a little bit bigger so you can see it. Atlanta Premier Salon, full cut beautify. Look beautiful today. Here's your number. Make an appointment. Whatever. BeautyAtlanta.com. Okay, I was explaining that, and it still only took a few minutes to do, right, Russell? I mean, you know, there wasn't a whole lot to it. So if there was something like, for example, for whatever reason, this particular one, I don't know if it's because see how it's missing the M, and what happened is it line wrapped right here. So what I can do is I can go in and I can just edit this one. I click on edit. I come in here to the text fields. I go to my URL beauty, and all I have to do is just drag this over and extend that for some reason. It needed to extend a little bit. Say OK. Every one of these can be edited individually, and then that's it. Now, so now it's fixed. So now it's got BeautyAtlanta.com. So now I say finish. Here's where the power comes in. Russell paid, $25 for one set of ads. All right. Now, all I have to do is I say clone, and I've got two sets of ads. And if I come in here and I say edit, I can change out. Let's say I want to, whatever I want to do. Let's say I wanted to. This may or may not make sense, but let's just go ahead and change the let's just change the color of the background. You know, let's see if we prefer like maybe a darker purple like this. All right, and just say okay. I can change the headline. I can change the call to action. I can change basically any piece of that ad inside the software. I can replicate it. And the power of that is now I've got duplicate sets. And how long did that take me? And you're done. And you can keep doing that. So like, you know, clone it again. And now edit this one. But not only that, you've got other designs that you can test. You know, but let's just say we want to change the the description or something, full cut and beautify, whatever. Look like a movie star today. Something like that. And so the point is, inside this software, we've solved all your problems for getting creatives done. Not only that, there's functionality that I can't really get into just because we don't have a whole lot of time. But you can see here, like let's take a look at this one here. That was the one that looked like a movie star today. Looked beautiful, whatever. So, and these are flash. So, I mean, that's probably right there. That's $100 times, that's $2,700 worth of ads if you went to a site to get one flash done, one flash ad in one size. And you've got the capability of doing multiple sizes at once. Russell, how long do you think it would even take someone else for you to even get back 27 ads?
A week if I paid for.
Forget the cost. I mean, just even the time.
Yeah, it would take at least a week. Yeah, at least
it would.
A week.
I mean, And so, I mean, again, you can come in here. I mean, we've already got some things for hair salons anyway. We've got two that we've already built. One is actually her, and then another one looks like this. But I showed you these, and I showed you how easy they are to change. Banners. So we're not going to get into it, but this is why technology can make paid traffic so easy. There's no other software out there that I've ever seen, and I've looked, and that's why I basically had it built. Over the last 2 years myself, we've been working on this. I'll tell you that we're coming out with a new version probably next week or by mid-April. We're kind of in the last stages of it now. And it gets cool because after you generate these banners, you actually will have the ability to annotate or draw on top of them. So if you want to talk about improving your click-through rates, we actually are going to give you the ability to you could draw a circle around, or a hand-drawn arrow, or anything you want really. You're going to be able to draw on top of these ads, and it will render that drawing. It's going to make it super easy for people to improve their click-through rates by doing just eye-catching things like that without having to know Flash or anything like that. So, and then that's it. You click next, and you just say generate your banner ad files. It's going to ask, where do you want it to go? Whatever. Make a new folder here. I guess my caps lock is on it. And then just say OK. And that's it. So now you've got this output. You simply just go. It tells you the file size. You can see all of these are. You typically have to be under 50K or 40K for some sites. All these will fall underneath that. Pops them up, and you copy and upload those to the ad network, and you're done. And that literally, I mean, that would have cost you several $1,000s, worth of edits, things like that if you paid retail for that. Obviously you could hire a flash designer probably for $4,000 or $5,000 a month, and that's all he does is crank out ads. But this is still way better because you don't have to wait on them. And again, we're not talking. The whole point of this is to get ads that actually work. And so, we've built stuff that some of it is more for design because your client thinks that that's going to work well. The reality is, sometimes simple text ads work the best. And we've got designs like that. I originally it only really generated one ad, but that ad was so fantastic. It generated millions of dollars, and it was like it looked a lot like this ad right here. And people used it. I know one guy used one ad to generate $6 million, and it just looked something like this, okay, for his product. So sometimes these things actually work way better than what's called the pretty ads. But your clients, if you're doing stuff for your client, you probably want to do a couple of each and just show them, because they're not going to believe you when you first start. They're going to say, oh, this is ugly. Why is it, I don't want to run that. So, we've got both types in there. And I would suggest to you guys, if you're going to do paid traffic, always test something like this that's sort of a simple text ad look with a little bit of eye-catching candy. Just do that for yourself. Yeah, ugly is best, Bruce. You're absolutely right. And we've got several different designs in here for that. And the cool thing is, when we release the markup capability, you'll be able to make some of the pretty ads look ugly too, just because you'll be able to draw on top of them. So you can give like, well, I'll show you actually. Here's an example of one that we just he was just showing me tonight. One of my developers sent it to me. Let me grab it real quick, and I'll show you guys. But you'll see, you'll kind of get the idea of what I'm talking about. You'll be able to do something like this. You'll be able to take this ad. Let me get it to load up here. Maybe. Come on. There we go. All right. So you'll be able to get an ad like this, which is a large. This is kind of a large, but notice he's kind of drawing a mustache on her. So you'll be able to do something like this with everything. You'll be able to draw a big red arrow and point it to the button, and and you won't have to know Flash, or or if you want to animate a GIF, you don't have to know how to do any of that. You'll be able to do it inside our software. It's really cool. Something that I've wanted for about a year now, and we've slowly been working on that capability. So Russell, I mean, at this point, I wanted to take maybe a question or two. Actually, I guess let me show you guys before we do that.
Yeah, tell me when
I'll
you're
show
ready
you
to do
real
that.
quick. I've never done this. Yeah, we're going to take questions here in a second. The Rockstar Power Suite, what you saw, it includes everything for Banner Ad Rockstar. It includes stuff for media buys. It includes PPC campaign building, and there's training for for how to use it for this stuff. CPV, automated research tool for if you're going to do CPV. Look, I've never done it. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. This isn't really a hard pitch. So this is more, I think you guys will save a ton of money because I've never, ever, ever sold it for this price. This is a special one-time price. You get the whole, normally we sell it for $997, and that only includes 30 templates. I'm actually going to give you every template that we've got currently, and that's about almost 200 different designs and three styles. There's about 3,000 different actual individual banners that they're getting. I mean, I've spent over $100,000 literally having them designed, paying the designers to do it. So it's a Russell, I did it mainly for you, you know, and your folks, and it's literally, for the replay, I'm not going to have that price in there, by the way. I didn't tell